Got to press.
So hi everybody. Thanks Zoe for asking me to come along. I'm sorry, I'm Jill. I'm from Rochdale in Lancashire, if you're trying to place my accent. And I now live on the west coast of Scotland with my partner, Martin, and two cats, one of which might make an appearance at some point because they're already hearing voices that they don't know. And I've been peri-stroke menopausal for the last 15 years. I'm 55. Probably the worst of times for me was about 4 years ago. I couldn't sleep due to waves of heat, which started at my toes and worked the way slowly up my body. So there was absolutely no sleeping whatsoever. My hair was like straw, so I could actually snap my hair off if I held it. So I got to a point where I was only washing my hair, say once or twice a month, because the actual action of washing my hair and drying it and using hair straighteners, all of which we do, was damaging it, and the repair process just wasn't happening at all. My nails were like rice paper, and at the time I worked in the food industry, so I was washing my hands continually, which isn't great for your hands or your nails anyway. But it was they were like rice paper. Really low energy, and it wasn't even being tired. I was tired, but I was exhausted. So I was tired from the lack of sleep, but just general exhausted. And I think the lowest day I ever had, I've had so far through the whole of this, was the day when I was too frightened to get in the car and drive to work. Because I couldn't, the anxiety of getting in my car was so great that I couldn't drive to work. And at the time, I was doing a job where I had a 45-minute motorway journey. At worst, I was doing, that journey was becoming 1.5 hours long over moorland on A and B roads through the winter. And my friends, they were like, I can't believe that this is where you feel is the safest route for you. And I said, that's the only way I can do it. That's the only way I can get to work. And interestingly, I listened to Radio 2 at work, and Jeremy Vine's done a piece on this. So if you go on to BBC Catch Up, he actually did a segment on women who in the 50s either stopped driving completely or they stopped driving on a motorway. And I know there's all the women driver jokes, but I truly believe this is related to menopause. My doctor thought it was I need to speak to a counsellor about it. But I've been a really confident driver my whole life of driving, and this was just a massive shock. There's quite a lot of blogs about it now, so it's not as uncommon. And I've got a friend who's 70 and she can't drive on the motorway, and I'm sure we all know mums, aunties, maybe friends who feel similar. So around this time, Zoe found me on a menopause site and introduced me to the Amigas, which and like with, I think with any supplement, they take time. I don't think anything kind of works overnight, really. But what I did see an improvement in really quickly was the waves of heat, and that was a gigantic step for me because I was struggling with sleep. And as soon as I went to lie down at night and tried to sleep, these waves were continual. And any sleep I did get, it was probably just exhaustion. I just couldn't stay awake any longer. And I found that they were relieved really quickly. And gradually, my hair became my hair again. So I could actually wash it and without, and it wasn't that clumps of hair were coming out from the roots. I could just take a piece and just snap it off like straw. It was actually like straw. So those were the really significant improvements that I saw quite quickly. So within, I would say within maybe 6 to 8 weeks that occurred. At the time, I was quite achy for no real reason. So I can remember being at work and just walking about and being kind of creaky and a bit like I'd done some gigantic workout, which I hadn't, but I was really feeling that kind of muscle pain. Um, Whereas now, I only get that kind of pain when I do a workout. So it's only aching in the good way now. So yeah, but that changed quite quickly. The driving, I went on to HRT. So I kind of see my menopause, perimenopausal journey as it's a little bit of a jigsaw, really. So I've got kind of the supplement piece that I pop in there. I do take HRT, and also my diet. And I think what Zoe was saying earlier about diets, that's something that I've really had to face into in the last year, where I've had to now see food as not just to relieve hunger, but as actual fuel. And I'm looking at food in a way, in a kind of a healing way, if you will. Nobody loves a chippy tea more than me, but again, it's in kind of moderation, and um, I really do eat so much better in more of a fueling way, and that's quite new for me. So I've probably only been doing that maybe in 6 to 12 months, but I've just really felt the benefits of that. Just going off the back of what you said there, Zoe. Um, so so I truly believe that the issue I had with driving was a hormone dip, um, and that took about 3 months. So it wasn't a start taking HRT and it was an immediate improvement. That took about 3 months, and it was very, very, very gradual. Um, but once I realised that, and so that has been a trigger for me. So as we know, our hormones move around. Sometimes a HRT treatment suits you now, but might not suit you another time, or you need to increase dosage for whatever reason. So if I start to feel nervous getting into my car, I know that I need to review my HRT. So that's a really significant trigger for me. And then last year, Mother Nature dealt me a new surprise. I developed rosacea, which is, well, I'm going to be really honest, it's a confidence kick in the teeth. I've always had quite good skin, even as a teenager, I did. Um, so the rosacea is not just flushing, but you can also get blisters under the skin. And the doctor put me onto antibiotics, which I took for about 9 months. They really upset my stomach. I have got quite a sensitive stomach, and I didn't really see the benefits. And I think I was perhaps looking at my skin, praying for it to be better, but and hoping I'd see some improvement, but I didn't. So I threw those away, and then I decided to have a read up on the other Juice Plus products. So, because I recognise how much of an improvement I've seen with the omegas, so I thought I'd give the berries a shot. And then within days, I felt like there was a calming to the redness and blisters. And I felt like I was actually treating the problem from the inside. So I did see really significant improvements. I did go back to the doctor, and I do use a gel on my face, but that is in conjunction with the supplements. I don't have any blisters now, but the redness is manageable, so I can cover it up. It doesn't look too bad in this light. I've not covered it up today, but I've been out running, and I was like a beetroot earlier. Anyway, so but that's just sometimes that's just the weather. But my confidence is back, because I think there's nothing worse, especially, well, for anybody really. I don't think it's men or women, but especially for women, when your skin's not right, you just don't feel, you don't feel good in yourself. So I really recommend the berries, because I saw that improvement really quickly. How am I now? I can drive on a motorway, which is great, because my mum and dad live 200 miles away from me, so I need to be able to jump in the car quite quickly sometimes. I still get the odd night sweat, and I still can be a little bit grumpy, but I think that's more of that's probably what I would, at one time we would have called that time of the month, and I think we still all get those kind of cycles. I exercise a lot more. I'm able to do that. I only ache in a great way. This year I did 10K for the first time. I entered the Highland Games in the town near where I lived, and I did the Highland Games road race. And running's quite new for me. I only started running from scratch last year, so and I feel like I can do that. And as I say, I feel my body a lot better than I used to do. So yeah, so that's me on my Juice Plus menopause journey.
Wow, that's amazing, Joe. I know, we've sort of messaged, haven't we? And you said, "Oh, I've had this improvement, that improvement," but I've not, to sit and listen to your journey. And actually, I think you're sort of a classic case of, you can't manage it naturally. You've had to go down the HRT route, and it sounds like you've made a lot of tweaks as well to your diet. And again, I will say this to anybody, customer wise, that you can't just expect to slap on a patch or a bit of gel and take some supplements. You've got to do your bit as well. You've got to drink more water, drink less alcohol, and like you said, you love a chippy tea. I love a prosecco, and it's all in moderation, isn't it? And it's making sure that you're consistent in what you're doing regularly, and you have these treats, in moderation, because we all like a treat, whether it's a drink or a chippy tea or a pizza or whatever it may be. Um, but it's finding that sort of lifestyle that works for you. And it sounds like adding the omegas and the berries in, as part of your tweak lifestyle, your HRT, has been quite life changing for you by the sounds of it, Jill. um,
It
you
has,
know,
it has,
which is
yes, yes.
amazing. Um, so thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. That's absolutely incredible. And I just wanted, I mean, I know probably some of you on here have heard my story before, but I mean, for me, um, I was suffering like Jill with the night sweats, the hot flushes, which is your typical, like, oh, I'm going through the menopause, but I wasn't sleeping. For me, my aches and pains were the worst. I was seeing a sports therapist every month. My neck, I'd get like a classic stiff neck, and then my knee. And I used to be a runner, Jill, and I don't run so much now. I've switched more to my weights. I do my weights in my office 3 times a week. But I was noticing the weight gain. I was moody, irritable, and generally, just feeling low in energy. But at the time when I went for a smear, I was told that HRT wouldn't be on offer to me because it was in short supply. And I wasn't always that keen to go on it, if I'm honest, because my mum had quite a bad experience on HRT. And she had to come off of it, and she ended up having acupuncture, and that worked for her. But she's 85 now, so we're talking quite a few years ago. So for me, I introduced, it was actually the fruit and veg capsules. And again, I just wanted to add some good nutrition to my diet. I mean, I've always eaten quite a lot of fruit and veg. I've always been quite good on that side of things. But for me, within a month, I noticed such a huge difference in my energy levels. And having been on them now, that's the longest product that I've taken. For the last 4 years, my immune system is so strong. It's like I started a new job 6 months ago, and so many people around me are always ill. The amount of people in my team that are off sick, and these are like youngsters that are in their 30s. There's me, sort of, just turned 50, and I'm like turning up every morning, full of energy, never off ill, never. I haven't been to the doctors in 4 years, and the fruit and veg are a really good one for immune system. Again, they've helped with my skin, my hair and nails, and I added in the berries and the omegas. And I just think the whole combination of those four have given me so many benefits, and I just would not be without them now. And I have the protein shake for breakfast as a meal replacement. It's got 19 grams of protein in, and it's a good mix of protein, carbs, and fats. And we've also got to remember that we should not be removing carbs from our diet. Our body needs carbs, but also carbs are vegetables. So, having a plate full of vegetables on your dinner every night is a good way to get your carbs intake. We shouldn't be obviously taking in carbs like your regular sort of potatoes. I do eat potatoes, but I tend to switch to sweet potatoes, and I don't have potatoes every day. I do sort of tend to eat more vegetables, or sweet potato, the good carbs. But I think it's getting a good balance of those, and with the fruit, veg, and berries, that's a variety of 30 varieties of fruit, veg, and berries in my diet every day as well. And again, it's having those variety of different veg. You wouldn't go out and buy all of those at the supermarket every day, and the quality of the veg that we buy isn't the quality that it used to be, in our parents' day. So these capsules, the way that they're made and harvested and grown, it's in really clean conditions, and it's a really, and it's not just the fruit, it's the pips, the seeds, the skins as well, and they're the bits that are actually really good for you. So they're the products that I have been taking for the last 4 years, and I've never taken HRT. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I need to go on, and it's quite interesting. I don't know if some of you have seen the news today about Louise Newson and her clinic, which is quite shocking. And it's funny because so I did a menopause course a couple of years ago, and I'm a menopause doula, which is, I sort of help ladies obviously going through the menopause, recommending supplements, helping, with their diet plans and things. And some ladies do go down the HRT route. And I had quite an interesting conversation actually, which was on the back of a friend of mine that actually went to Louise Newson's clinic. And she was just desperate to get HRT, and her doctor wouldn't prescribe it to her because of previous quite serious medical conditions. She went straight to Louise Newson's clinic, and with the next day, she had a full prescription of all hormones, so progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. And that was on the back of a half an hour consultation. And I was absolutely gobsmacked. And I was actually worried for my friend. And I contacted Fiona. You've probably seen her in my menopause group. She runs the menopause school. And I did share a post that she put in there, that she put on, and I shared it in my group today. And I was telling her, and she did not speak highly at all of Louise Newson's clinic. And she said that basically, in her eyes, it's they're just bringing in lots of doctors, they're earning lots of money. These women are paying lots of money for consultations, but all they're doing is just prescribing them what they want, basically, and it's not actually what's right for them and their health and their medical backgrounds. So it was quite an eye-opener for me, and I've never really talked about it because I don't want to slate professionals like that, but I think with what's come out in the news today, it's actually quite shocking, the amount of women that this has probably affected. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of talk about that really. So I don't know, there's not many of us on the call tonight, so I don't know if anybody anybody wants to talk about that, or if there's anything they want to ask, any questions for me or for Jill, or is there anything you're worried about that you perhaps come on the call and you want to talk about, what you're going through in your menopause?
It's interesting, and just sorry, I'm trying to find a way to put my hand up. Then I can't see the thing.
Please, miss, can I talk?
I am Nick. Oh, no, it's interesting, Jill, just to hear as well that that new things can crop up, because it can take you completely by surprise, and no matter what stage you're at, something new can suddenly happen, and it's like, wow, another curveball. And I suppose by tweaking, it gives you that little bit of hope that something might help here. And it's a case of that willingness to kind of just focus on self a little bit and experiment, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, honestly, getting rosacea, you just think, what can be any worse than not being able to drive your car, rosacea? Because it just really it does affect your confidence. I'm not saying I'm this crazy confident person, but when you've got gigantic, you wake up in the, I'm only laughing because I'm laughing at myself, not at the condition at all. But you wake up in the morning and you feel like the Elephant Man. And I started a new job when I came to live in Scotland. I started a new job, and I work in the office in the blacksmiths near where I live, and it's all guys. And I'm not saying, to be fair, I could come to work dressed in anything, they wouldn't even notice. But you still want to, I'm kind of customer facing. I'm the first person you see, and you become really conscious of it. And then you feel like, well, I don't know if anyone's had rosacea or knows anybody, but it kind of tingles all the time. So you want to touch your face. So you've got to almost sit on your hands to stop yourself from doing it. And everything that you use, all your go-to products that you've used forever and you love, suddenly you read the ingredients on the bag, and quite a few of them will have alcohol in, and that'll just flare it completely. So you come out the shower, or you've washed a face mask off, and you think this is the one, this is the product that's going to resolve it or calm it down, and you look like you've been dragged out of a fire. So it's honestly, rosacea is just, and the more people I see on my travels, it's so common. But again, it's kind of one of those topics that nobody talks about at all. And a friend of mine's a nurse practitioner, and we went on holiday, and she saw these lumps on my eyebrows, because I get it up here as well, which is, well, that's probably why I've got a fringe. But so she just said to me, "What's that there?" And I showed her. She went, "Oh my God," she said, "You need to get to the doctor. She's got rosacea." I didn't even know what it was. I just thought it was, tell you what I thought it was, a hormone imbalance, and I had adult acne. That's what I thought it was. So.
And have you gone through, are you in menopause now, Jill? Have you gone 12 months? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And is that quite recently, or was the rosacea after that, or was that
The
in
rosacea's after that.
Yeah.
That's in the last maybe 18 months I've had rosacea. Yeah.
See, the skin issue is a common one. And we've seen a lot of customers like you that have had rosacea, that they've gone onto the berries and they've really helped. I mean, eczema and rosacea are almost like a similar, different type of skin complaint, aren't they? But it's, having the dry skin and everything again, the decline in hormones. It's such a common thing to have. It's not unheard of at all in menopause. But again, I suppose if you've not heard of it and it's not something you've come across, I'd heard of it because we have customers like you that have had it, and they've gone on the berries, and they've seen the improvements that you've had. So yeah, it's quite interesting really, because I think Ange as well, that's on the call, you found the berries, that was one of the products that you started on, and it was your hair, wasn't it, as well, like Jill, different type of hair issue, but yeah, perhaps Ange can tell us about her hair problem. I know
Yeah.
it's a big thing for you.
It definitely was. Yeah, so my hair was just so thin, and you know, if I went like that, you know, I'd have a clump of hair in my hand, and then like in the shower, that's where I noticed more. Is obviously having the shower and then cleaning the plug out, and it was just covered. So yeah, a few people said to me to start on the berries, and I was very skeptical. So it must have taken me about 2-3 years before I actually said, yeah, okay, then I'll try these berries, these wonderful berries. Because I was at the point, well, you know, I've tried creams, I've tried shampoos, I've had things from the doctor, nothing is working. So what have I got to lose? So I started the berries, and I remember it wasn't far off my birthday, so it was in March. We'd been away for the weekend, and that was my turning point, because we'd been out for a meal, and just looking back at the photo in my phone, and I was like, oh my God, does my hair really look like that? So that was my turning point. So I started on them, and within weeks I could just see that there was less hair in my brush, and I wasn't clearing out the plug as much after having a shower and things like that. And then it was I would probably go to the hairdresser maybe every 18 months. That's how often I was having to have a haircut. And then I just remember going back to the hairdresser, and she was like, Ange, you know, you're here. It hasn't been 18 months yet. And then it was growing and growing thick, it was just amazing. And then I noticed then, like you, Jill, with your skin, I could just see that, you know, I wasn't having to put as much cream on and trying to hide my, you know, across here I was having, it was really, really red. I thought it was where my glasses were obviously rubbing, but it wasn't. And my nails, you know, they'd be breaking and snapping and whatnot. And I'd also always have gel put over the top of my nails just to make them longer and just to keep that strength. And now I'm going, I can't really go 2 weeks without having my nails done. And even my technician says how strong my nails are. Well, like when she takes all the gel off, and sometimes she said she has to tell customers to leave the gel off to let the nails recover a little bit. But she said with you, Angela, you can just keep going. So yeah, no, I love the berries. I think they are, and they always say that your first is your favourite, but yeah, definitely wouldn't be without the berries.
That's
Same here,
amazing.
and I've got the change in my skin and my nails and my hair. I think that's where I've noticed it the most. And just feeling more energetic as well. But yeah, I've been taking for some time now.
Good.
Because are you on berries and omegas, Nick, or?
I'm currently in all the I'm trying the veg and fruit as well. I've been in a stint of that for the first time. So I've been on the omegas for some time. I then introduced the berries about 6 months after the omegas. I had a period of without berries just for a few months, and I noticed the difference in that short space of time. It was, I think it was about 3 months I had without berries. So I restarted berries, but I've also been trying the fruit and veg to see if that could, because a couple of other things started to change, and I thought I'll see how I go with those.
Good timing just for the winter as well.
Yeah,
for the immune
it was just
system.
because I'm seeing the benefits. So yeah, it's that, and again, it's kind of just see where we go with it. Let's see where we go. But I tell you what, I've got a lot of energy at the moment.
It's the fruit and veg. Honestly, that's what I noticed. I was like, ding. And because in fact, Leanne, my friend Leanne's on the call, and I know she ran out of berries and she didn't reorder. And even her husband said, Leanne won't mind me saying, oh, your hair's looking a bit thinner. So she was like, right, I'm getting them berries back on order. So
I've stopped buying all the shampoos. I don't bother with any of them now. I just use completely the most natural shampoo I can find, but I don't spend a fortune on that anymore because I don't feel the need.
Is there? Oh no, that's so good to hear, ladies, isn't it? That's really good. I think it's, it's just made me realise that, we just need to add really good nutrition into our bodies, especially at this time of life. 70% of our immune system's in our gut. Our gut talks to our brain, and our brain talks to our gut every day. Which is why so many women struggle with their anxiety and moods and things going through the menopause. The hormones have such an impact on that as well. So it is really important to be making those tweaks in your diet, because all those supplements, they are whole food products, so you're just adding that extra nutrition in that you're not getting in your diet every day. So it's just a real kind of good top up to make sure that you're flooding your body full of goodness. And we all need that, don't we? The older we get, we all need more goodness in our lives for sure. So but yeah, no, it's been great. Was there anything else anybody wanted to talk about whilst we're on? It's just quite nice having a little chat, isn't it? Unless there was any other questions that you had. In fact, I was going to share with you, I did a survey with some of our customers that had just been taking the omegas, and so the improvements in anxiety and depression was 72%, irritability and mood was 81, improvement in hot flushes 79, night sweats 89, sleep 67, aches and pains 76, hair 73. Again, I think the omegas are great for hair, but paired with the berries, absolutely phenomenal. Skin 69, nails 71, and brain fog 76. So, really good high result.